Hello, Brad here, just to say we're super proud that the Friday 5pm podcast is sponsored by the Malt Miller, the UK's best home brew store.
We use the Malt Miller for all of our homebrew experiments, as well as tapping them up for advice and binging on their awesome YouTube channel all the time.
That's why whenever we release a homebrew video, we put a recipe kit live on the Malt Miller, so you can brew with the exact same amazing ingredients that we did. The same ingredients used by pro brewers.
So alongside the Malt Miller's nitro-flushed hops, cold-stored yeast and milled-to-order malts, you can pick up recipe kits for our 5 Points Best Bitter, Russian River West Coast IPA, and now the fastest beer in the world, a hazy session IPA that goes from grain to glass in less than 48 hours.
Sign up to their newsletter at tinyurl.com/Malt Miller to get 5% off your first order. With the Malt Miller's amazing customer service and Johnny's 48-hour recipe, you could order the ingredients on a Monday and be drinking the beer by the weekend.
Speaking of which, it's Friday.
It's 5pm.
So enjoy this week's Friday 5pm podcast. It's Friday, it's 5pm, and it's almost exactly 2 weeks, 2 weeks and 3 hours until we go live for the first time in 2024.
Dude, I'm pretty thirsty. I assume you're referring to our live show with Baron Brewing.
I am indeed. You should have some drink. You should drink something before then.
Yeah, okay. I won't wait, but I mean, I feel like I can't wait anyway. So I wish Jack had I'd gone to that canning day and I'd been furnished with some Bermuda shorts. Bermuda.
Right, yeah.
I said it wrong. Board shorts.
Yeah.
That's one of our other ones, Bermuda
Between
shorts.
the two of us,
Yep.
you'll get the name of the beer wrong and I'll get the date wrong and no one will come.
Guaranteed.
I don't know if you saw yesterday, I'd love to say that this was intentional and like a little in-joke, but I got the date wrong in the Instagram post yesterday as well.
Damn.
This time I put the 32nd. 32 ST, just missed with a fat thumb.
There aren't any 30 seconds of any month, right? Isn't the longest month 31 days?
Very much so, yeah. Thanks for clarifying that for everybody. It was just a typo.
Wow.
But I just seemed cursed to give the wrong date for this live show. I guess I'm just so out of practice about announcing live shows because we haven't done one since December.
Yeah. Do you think it's the curse of that new King Charles portrait that's now entered the world?
Wait, you're going to have to explain that one to me.
It's a bit like, if you've not seen it, he's like in all of his sort of regalia, his military regalia, and he's basically surrounded by hellfire and blood of the Empire, I would say. It's very much a red, bloody background around it. It's pretty insane. It looks like Vigo from Ghostbusters 2. It's just been birthed into the world. I can't believe you haven't seen this, Johnny. You are well out of touch with the memes, Mercer.
I'm too busy writing inaccurate Instagram posts, mate.
Yeah. You want to Google that shit?
Believe me, I'm working on it. I'm not quite sure what to Google. Prince Charles' new portrait.
Yeah, King Charles portrait. It's going to come straight up.
Oh, I called him Prince. That's me off the invite list for
exactly
his funeral. New portrait. Oh my god, I can't type that. There we go. Oh crikey. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
it's a look, right?
Macabre.
Macabre's a good word for it.
So I'm just looking at all of the roundup of the news headlines about this.
Yeah.
The Independent's gone with King Charles hid a poignant symbol in new portrait for school children. So
yeah, he's got.
This is for school children?
Yeah, apparently he's got a butterfly on one of his shoulders, just about to land on him, but everything else in existence seems to have turned into a fiery oblivion. But the little butterfly's there, so maybe that's sort of saying that there is a chance for life beyond climate devastation and history of our nation doing what we've done. But
very weird. I can see
funny, innit?
People that understand AI having a lot of fun with this.
Yeah. But like it really looks like Ghostbusters 2, the evil painting.
Yeah, it does.
I'm not really sure what he was thinking. His hands are very prominent. and they're not that sausage-like. He had that thing, didn't he, when everyone was saying he had very sausagey fingers.
Yeah, but the perspective of it is weird. His hand is massive. It's the size of his face.
Yeah. It is big hand, isn't it? It's done
very
by
odd portrait.
Jonathan Yeo, who is like someone that Jamie, when we worked for Jamie Oliver, Jamie loved Jonathan Yeo. So we used to have Jonathan Yeo's around the office. I'm probably saying that wrong. Yeah, we did. They're worth a load of money.
Wow.
Jamie had a bunch of them just sort of like casually on the walls and stuff. They were of different celebrities and stuff. He's painted all sorts of people, this guy. But I can't help think that it's a cheeky little thing to paint him in a sort of a bloodbath kind of background. But anyway,
I mean, I've just King Charles looks delighted with it.
Do you
He's
think
like, oh yes, this is totally
he loves it.
What I expected. Yeah.
Do you
Red
think
blood? Show me the blood. What?
It looks a bit like a sort of Belgian sour, doesn't it? Could be a sort of a kind of really fruity, hazy beer that he's floating in. What do you reckon?
Yeah, maybe back when when Cloudwater first started, they used to have those white cans with artwork in like a frame.
Yeah.
It could bring back that, bring back that approach and have King Charles on there, or indeed the baddie from Ghostbusters.
Well, he does have. I don't know if he still has it, but he has his own food range, doesn't he? Dutchy, which you used to be able to buy in, I believe, Waitrose and places like that.
Well, I think it's not just food; it's all kinds of stuff. Dutchy range. Like
would you drink some Dutchy beers? Did he ever make beers?
I've drunk Dutchy beer. Yeah.
Oh, he did make beer. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he contracted it out to some family brewery, but yeah, I've had a nice bitter.
Nice.
Because it's the kind of thing that my relatives buy me, thinking like, "Oh, he won't have tried this contract brewed supermarket beer from Waitrose."
Yeah,
that's not how any of my relatives speak. I don't know who I was trying to be there, but yeah, I've tried quite a few Dutchy beers. They were all right.
Cool. Okay. So, what do you make of the portrait? Is it all right, or is it a bit?
Oh, we're going to keep going with the portrait. It's terrible.
We'll move on.
I mean, artistically, I can see there's some talent there, but I don't quite get the concept, and it makes him look terrifying to school children.
I think so. I saw it like when it. I feel like when the news hit, I somehow saw it on telly or something immediately, and my first thought was like, "Holy shit! It looks. Why is it red? It looks really like scary and like Ghostbusters 2 vibes." So yeah, and then I was confirmed by everyone else saying looks like Ghostbusters 2 and like a Hellfire or Bloodbath sort of scenario. So yeah,
it's very much a portrait for modern times, isn't it? When we look back on that, I don't care what Jonathan Yeo was trying to do. When we look back on that, we're going to be like, yeah, I mean, it's either like the world burning or the world at war, or there's something subconscious in that, surely.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to Friday 5 p.m, the podcast in which every Friday you sit down with your favourite portrait and listen to two art critics talk about art.
Do you know what, Johnny? I've got a slight link to this. Which
to the portrait?
The colour of the portrait.
Go on.
It links to your news article about Jurgen Klopp.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? Red.
It does.
You just made a link from a portrait of a king to football.
Yeah. Yep.
Two things I don't think I've ever discussed with you before.
Hitting all the bases today, mate. Footy, footballs.
But before we get to footy footballs, we should do the two bits of news that I was trying to start with, but we immediately got derailed by the portrait of the king and the end of the world. The first one is our live show, 31st of May, 8 p.m, live with Jack from Baron, who was in our video this week and who we brewed a delicious beer with. It's an 8-pack. It's 40 quid delivered. It's got black IPA, a double red IPA, some hazies of different strengths. It's very much a hop forward box, but there's some variation in there. And I've tried about half of the beers and they're absolutely singing. It's our first live show since December. It's going to be great fun. Even if you can't get hold of those beers, just grab some tasty beers, and I promise you 2 hours of utter joy. The other thing I want to do before we get onto footy football, which I love as a phrase now, is I am doing 2 talks at the Cheltenham Food and Drink Festival.
Oh.
In June. It's a great festival. There's some really big names in food and some smaller names in drink. It's on the 22nd. Well, my talks are on the 22nd of June in Cheltenham. I'm doing a talk on seasonality in brewing, so drinking through the year, based off of my book, A Year in Beer, multi-award-winning book, A Year in Beer. And then also a talk on how beer changed the world, which will be a teaser to my forthcoming book out on the 7th of November. So you'll get a sneak preview to some of the stories. I mean, you've already had them if you watch the channel, because, you know, Svalbard, meeting the Prince of Bavaria, all that kind of stuff was research. But 22nd of November, of June. If you fancy coming to that, you should combine it with a trip to maybe Hook Norton or to Daya, or just to the Cotswolds generally, because it's one of the most beautiful places on earth, really. But yeah, I need to shift some tickets, particularly for the latter talk. So please do come down. I'll be there serving beers to you and chatting away. And it will be a great festival. I'll definitely be at Daya, probably on that Saturday night. Right, footy footballs. We're going to start with that bit of news?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
So this is the news that Jurgen Klopp, who is a football manager, Bradley.
Oh, yeah.
Of a football club.
Oh, yeah.
Called Liverpool.
Oh, I've heard of them. Yeah.
He's leaving.
What?
He's leaving after 9 seasons in charge. After bringing them 1 league title.
Yeah.
And 1 league title and 1 Champions League. Very, very much loved. And he's an absolute legend of a human. Big fan. Obviously, Carlsberg is a long-term sponsor of Liverpool Football Club, as you might remember from the 90s shirts, which are pretty iconic. And so, to mark him leaving, they've brewed him a beer.
That's nice.
In collaboration with Erdinger. I'm not really sure why Erdinger are involved. I guess because he's German. Maybe he's even Bavarian. Not quite sure. But they've brewed Believers Brew, because he turned them into Believers after years in the wilderness as nearly rans. And they've brewed what they've called a Danish Bavarian lager wheat, which is just putting words together. It's not really describing anything. I don't know what a lager wheat is. Or indeed what a Danish Bavarian lager or Danish Bavarian wheat is. But the cool thing about this, the reason why I think it's newsworthy, other than 2 historic breweries getting together to brew a beer, is because they're only making, supposedly, 491 bottles, 1 for every game that he was in charge of.
Wow. Okay.
And on these bottles, all of these bottles are numbered with an association with that game. So some of these games will be very exciting. You know, his last game in charge, the game where they won the Champions League, the game where they won the title, the Premier League title. But some of these games are going to be losses, and some of them slightly embarrassing losses.
Oh, dear.
And so they're all going up for auction. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see certain bottles go probably for thousands of pounds. And I reckon some that we could afford. Do you think we should try and buy one?
Yeah, let's buy a really bad one. That's cheap. I don't want to buy the one that's like a winning one, because I don't really care about footy footballs. Although I must say, he has got fantastic teeth. I'm just looking at
He does have remarkable teeth, yeah.
They can't be real. Those are incredible teeth he's got going on there.
Maybe he's just really cared for them.
Yeah, he's lots of photos of him where he appears to be shouting or smiling or grimacing. Just all kinds of action, Johnny. But his teeth are like proper like Hollywood teeth. Amazing.
Well, he's got Hollywood money.
Guess so.
I reckon, genuinely, I'm going to try and win us. Oh, actually, maybe this will be targeted because it's kind of hilarious. But they lost 7-2 to Aston Villa in 2020.
Okay.
Maybe we could try and buy that one.
Isn't it? That'll go for loads, surely, because it's a historic thing. Surely you want a 0-0.
Yeah, we could get a book. Neil, no, not Neil. 0-0.
0-0.
0-0.
Neil.
NIL. 0-0.
Like Neil, like the man, yeah?
No.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nil as in the...
Niche,
would it be
niche.
Scandi, like Nils?
Niche, niche. I'm going to call it niche, niche.
Okay, I mean, that's wrong, but you can call it that. Bids start at £5. Let's try and win ourselves a board draw.
Okay, can I put a limit of £35, including auction fees, Johnny?
And postage?
Postage, you can have postage, but
Okay,
as long as it's not more than £12.
Okay, so £47 is the limit.
That's the limit.
Right, okay.
Do you think every other beer tuber is going to buy one of these and review the beer, though?
This summer, I'm going to be hosting talks at the Manchester, Bristol and London craft beer festivals, giving festival goers the chance to attend tutored tastings, rare beer pours, meet the brewers and even guided tours of the bars. These 3 festivals are the highlights of my events calendar, featuring some of the world's best breweries with delicious restaurant pop-ups, great music and a really welcoming party atmosphere. It's the 3rd year I've been hosting the We Are Beer Tastings table, but for the first time I'm delighted to offer all of our listeners, viewers and Patreons £5 off a ticket when you use the code CBC5. Just hit the link in the description to buy. See you there. I have no idea. They're not going to try and buy the 0-0 draw with, I don't know, Watford. That's for sure.
They might if they're listening to this.
we're going to be bidding against Simon from Real Ale Guide without realising.
Yeah, I think this sounds fun. Even though I hate beer, I don't like Carlsberg.
You hate beer?
Did I say I hate beer?
You just said I hate
Freudian,
beer.
That's some Freudian shit. I don't hate beer.
That would be quite the secret to have hidden for 11 years.
I meant I hate football. I don't like Carlsberg.
Okay.
And
But you like Jurgen Klopp's teeth.
I like his teeth. Yeah.
And he's on the bottles.
He is. You can see his top row of teeth on the bottle as well. I'm not even calling it a row. It's like just the one unit, isn't it? It's a unit of teeth.
It's a monument. A monument to teeth.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a good link, actually. Do you see there's another one of these metal monoliths has popped up in Wales this time? You're aware of these things that are popping up all over the world, just in very remote places?
No.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. So the last few years, there have been these giant metal monoliths that are just out in the middle of nowhere. People have discovered, well, I'm doing air quotes, discovered them while they're walking, in Death Valley or something like that. And this week, one has popped up in the middle of the night somewhere boggy in Wales that looked very wet. And it's freaking massively tall. Bit of metal. Looks like, hard to discern how it was placed there, how it was made. There are no, footprints or anything around it. And they're speculating whether it's aliens or a helicopter maybe that flew it in overnight. But yeah, it's now we've got one in Wales, but they're all over the world. They're all over South
it's like
America
Banksy, but for shitty steel things in the middle of nowhere.
Space art, or it's aliens.
Space
Johnny.
art. I mean, we'd know if it was from space. They could test that very easily.
Why? So because you're saying the radiation, or the fact that there'd be other elements in there and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, lots of reasons, lots of ways to test it. So it's definitely not from space.
Johnny, it could be. Don't say that.
It's definitely not from space. Also, it's Hay on Wye. The what do they call it? Very famous for its books and its beer. The book festival,
the literary festival. Yeah, Hay on Wye.
I've been there. It's a beautiful place. There weren't any aliens. It's clearly an art. It's an art exhibition, right?
You not watched? Well, it could be. I mean, it probably is. Yeah, but if you not watched Men in Black, Johnny, you wouldn't know you were in amongst the aliens, because they'd be like us, but a bit weird. So maybe I'm an alien.
It would explain a few things.
Not an alien, but I mean, if I was an alien, I probably would say I was an alien to double bluff, and then say I'm not an alien. But yeah, we got one now. We got one, Johnny. Maybe we
Great
should go
news.
and visit it. Yeah.
Any other beer? More beer related news?
There's loads of beer news, mate. If you want more great beer news, then I've got possibly the greatest beer news that I've ever heard of in my life.
Goodness me.
Yeah, right. So I'm bigging it up quite a lot. The UK's first beer spa is opening in Norfolk, Johnny. What do you reckon?
Tell me more.
They're already taking bookings.
Is it like Czech style beer spa?
I believe so. It says the Norfolk Mead Hotel said about the beer spa, relax in your own authentic wooden hot tub containing vitamin-rich malt and hops from our local Woodford's brewery, including your very own beer tap.
Woodfords?
Yeah. Woodford.
Yeah, they make wherry, don't they?
Yeah. It's spelled Woodforde. Is that Woodford or Woodford?
It's Woodford. Dude, it's like it's a very famous brewery.
I know, but we've already established
I can't. You've said it out loud.
No. I can't pronounce Victorinox or Victorinox. So we've already established I can't pronounce words. I'm just very dyslexic. So you have your very own beer tap that you can help yourself to beer as you bubble away. It costs £68 per person, Johnny. You can book it right now.
For how long?
I don't know. How long is it going to be? £68 per person, or how long the session?
Yeah, the session.
I'm guessing. Well, actually, I think it says £45 because they're also
45 minutes.
45 minutes. Sorry, yeah, my words are getting really messed up today. Yeah, they last 45 minutes, and they're for 4 or for 2 people.
That's like £1.30 a minute.
Yeah, what else?
You're sitting in a taxi for cheaper than that.
Yeah, but you're not. I've got a free beer tap as you're in a taxi. That'd be a great taxi, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd book that taxi. But okay, right. So it's free beer for 45 minutes. You're gonna have 2 beers in that time.
Also,
plus, you get a nice sticky bath.
Is it hot? Is it hot in it? Because presumably it's like a jacuzzi, right? And then
it's a hot tub, didn't they say? So I guess it'll be like 40 degrees. Yeah.
So you're probably not allowed to drink in it in case you have a heart attack or something.
Nah, you'd be allowed.
Although you are allowed to drink, so there's a beer tap. But yeah, you're not supposed to drink in a jacuzzi, are you? Because it's dangerous.
Yeah, but everybody does. I mean, what's the point of a jacuzzi if you can't drink something while you're in it?
This is why people die in jacuzzis.
Do people?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the thing.
Actually, somebody famous recently did, didn't they? Who am I thinking of?
Don't know.
Somebody famous died in their... It wasn't Matt. It wasn't Chandler Bing.
God, was it?
He might have done.
God.
Anyway, we need to message this hotel, not mention Chandler Bing, and see if we can go full on Instagram influencer.
Matthew Perry's death in a hot tub.
I don't Google it.
Drowning risk. Oh,
okay.
No.
Wow, so that's literally what you're talking about.
Drowning in jacuzzi.
Yeah, don't think about it too much. Yeah, let's speak to the hotel because I think we should go. I wanted to go to a Czech beer spa, but I think that's just too touristy. I'd have just felt
we don't need to now. We don't.
No, exactly. We can go to Norfolk, which is
Norfolk's
not that much closer
nicer
for you.
No, not really, but it is lovely. I do like Norfolk. Maybe not as much as I like Czech Republic, though. Why am I talking myself out of going to Czech Republic?
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
The hotel looks very nice anyway, the Meads Hotel in Norfolk.
Okay. Great. Well, they've had some airtime, and now we're going to cash in with a free sticky bath.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Any other news? Anything even better than a beer spa opening in Norfolk?
Don't know about better. I've probably got worse. I've got some better. Okay. Salisbury has been named the 4th best craft beer city in the UK, Johnny.
By whom?
By who? Duck? No. By I don't know who it's by. It's by a little independent people, which I thought, well, who are they? Johnny, I'm so dyslexic. It's hard reading at speed. I can't find it. But I can tell you what. I'll find it in a minute. I can tell you why it secured 4th place, if you like, or who it's behind. So Salisbury secured the fourth place thanks to its local breweries and independent pubs championing real ales, falling just short of Bath, Canterbury, and Newcastle, which took the top spot.
See, now it was only a couple of weeks ago that we were reporting that Sheffield had been voted, admittedly by the University of Sheffield, but the cask capital of the UK. And now you're telling me it's not even top four, and that somewhere like Salisbury is pipping that to the... I mean, this is just all made up, right?
Yes.
For one, there's no real way of telling. For two, they're wrong. And for three, it's not even made clear who actually decided this. So I could just turn around and say Stevenage. Stevenage is the best place for craft beer in the UK because of all of its cask ale pubs and the B&M bargains that has some American craft beer in it.
Well, apparently it's the holiday company Independent Cottages analyse cities across the UK to find which have the best craft beer scenes and probably the most independent cottages per capita in them, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be, where do we need to fill up our cottages, and what order should we put them in this list of which one is best?
Apparently they did consider the number of independent breweries per capita, the number of awards won by each city's independent breweries in 2023, and the number of pubs and drinking establishments in craft beer searches on TripAdvisor per capita.
Goodness me.
What does that even mean? I don't even know what that last one means. That's weird. Anyway,
basically just how many craft beer locations there are according to TripAdvisor, which is not really an academic way of doing that, and also shows that they've never actually been.
No.
So I'm sure it's good news for Salisbury, but it's nonsense.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's clearly going to be. I mean, probably Manchester. I mean, Newcastle has a great craft beer and cask ale scene. It's probably Manchester. Is probably the best beer scene at the moment in the UK.
This is making, when we've talked about TripAdvisor, then it's making me think about how open to manipulation TripAdvisor is. Do you remember there was a guy that worked at Vice called Uber, who looks a bit like Boris Johnson, and he became the number one restaurant in London on TripAdvisor, and it was his garden shed.
Yeah.
And he totally gamed the system in an amazing way. It was very funny. But yeah, I think it was called The Shed at number 29 or something, and it was like his garden shed. And he was ordering food in and then serving it.
Yeah, it's a bad day for the TripAdvisor marketing department, I'm sure.
Yeah, big time.
You have some bad news as well, I believe.
Wow, so much news, Johnny. We can keep going on the news. Okay, I've got more news. Well, as you say, it's slightly bad news. In that North American craft beer searches for its mojo. That's the headline. And basically, this is about the craft beer as an industry in North America has stalled, right? So from the era of annual double-digit growth, which has lasted since the early 80s until the late 2010s, we've seen it stagnate, and even a 1% drop in production in 2023. And this article is in Just Drinks, and it's sort of asking why that might be. It goes into, it's basically about, they're saying haze is
I mean, it's a hit piece on hazy IPA, isn't it?
Yeah. But I quite like quite near at the top, they're talking about the quandary of defining craft beer.
Yeah.
And they said that at the core of this quandary is the fact that for most of craft beer's existence, brewers, industry watchers, and even many drinkers have struggled to define precisely what makes craft beer craft. Size was a good marker until some breweries grew sufficiently large that it wasn't, and using ingredients as a yardstick was always going to be a non-star in an industry segment that from the outset has self-defined as iconoclastic. Taste, while helpful, was in the end too subjective to be much use, which left only intent. So I thought that was all quite interesting. Surely it's kind of those things, but it's also like who owns it. Like we're always saying, independence, and it's not owned by a giant macro. And the kind of philosophy of the people making the beers.
Well, I mean, we say that the ownership doesn't matter.
We do
in our definition and our video. We have left it all to intent. That it's a race to the top, not a race to the bottom. It's essentially our definition of it. Right. Let me just say, we'll put a link to this article so that people can read it, but it is essentially a hit piece on hazy IPA, the likes of which we haven't seen since 2015, when everybody tried to say, this is just a fad, it's just badly made beer, it's not going anywhere. Bit disappointed that something like this is being written, especially by Stephen Beaumont, who I like and respect and have read his books and think he's great. The definition of craft, is a marketing tool, and it's helpful, and it's important, but it doesn't. I don't think it's that. It's not that well linked to how well craft is doing. Most people, when they're drinking a craft beer, aren't thinking, "But how do I define this?" Like they're just enjoying the flavors and possibly the independence or the locality of it, or just kind of the context they're enjoying it in, or they just don't particularly like macro lager. Those are the reasons that people will try craft beer. And we don't necessarily need we need a tight definition because we need to protect that marketing element. But people are going to drink it regardless. What annoys me about this piece is that they're essentially saying that the one style that is successful and is growing and is getting beer geeks excited and is a great marketing piece and a great flagship that gets new people involved constantly is the issue. It's a very, very weird approach. And then they just quote a load of brewers that make hazy IPA but don't want to.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's a very strange piece. Without hazy IPA and the excitement around it, craft beer would be in much greater trouble than it is. And there's a little bit, I can't quite find it right now, where they just sort of go, oh, well, yeah, we shouldn't forget, like the cost of living crisis, the squeeze on margins for breweries and COVID. But it's probably hazy IPA doing it. It's bonkers.
Yeah, that is silly.
It's, and then they start going. This one annoyed me. The market for hazy IPAs also raises the chicken and egg question: was the haze craze legitimately driven by consumer demand, or were consumers turned to hazes specifically because craft breweries were making and heavily promoting so many of them?
Nah.
What? Why does that even matter? If they were specifically making more and people were enjoying them, then it was the right move. What kind of question is that?
People aren't buying beers they don't want to drink.
Yeah, exactly, because it was on Instagram. Like, they'll do that once.
Yeah.
And either they won't like it and they'll move on, or they will like it and they'll be like, great, thanks for showing me this.
Yeah, no one's like going, oh, I don't like this beer, but I'm going to keep ordering it because it's cool and it's countercultural or whatever. It's not like I'm making a statement by ordering this because everyone's ordering it. And
I mean, it's almost the opposite in that drinking IPA now is deeply uncool. It's literally mocked by sort of the mainstream press and people in bars. I think
it's mocked by macro beer in their advertising campaigns and stuff.
Indeed,
as well,
it is
to a certain extent.
Yeah. Even by companies that own hazy IPA producers.
Yeah.
The only sort of the only interesting point is made by Mitch Steele, formerly of Stone and now of New Realm, in which he says a key element in the United States is beer distributors, who by and large dictate what beer styles breweries should brew. Their influence cannot be understated, and they don't want to build brands. They want to deliver beer that they know will sell. So there's definitely pressure being put upon breweries to all brew hazy IPA by distributors, but also by their drinkers as well. It's not strictly distributors. And that is creating an issue in that unique brands are not being built. And I think that means, if everybody looks the same, we'd get tired of looking at each other, but we'd also struggle to grow, because how do you develop loyalty and all this kind of stuff when your beer tastes the same as everybody else's? But I don't think that's necessarily the reason why craft's struggling. I think it's the reason why certain breweries are struggling and others are flying. To take it to the UK for a moment, the best thing you can do is brew hazy IPA. It's a growing segment. And if you're really good at it, you'll do really well. But the worst thing you can do is brew bad hazy IPA, which a lot of breweries are also doing. It creates a real branding issue and something that could bite businesses in the bum eventually. But to try and blame stagnant growth on the fact that everybody's making the beer that makes them money and sells, I cannot quite get my head around any of this article. And it even finishes with my favourite thing, which is... I think it's Steele saying it. He says, seeing a significant movement back to beer-flavoured beer.
Nice, beer-flavoured beer.
Which I just... annoys the crap out of me. Who are you to say what beer tastes like? If you take a view beyond the last 20 years, none of what we drink tastes like beer. Literally none of it. Not even really macro Pilsner. So it's just short-termism. Anyway, yeah, craft beer in America is struggling, but it's nothing to do with hazy IPA, despite this article's
I'm blaming... What are you blaming? I'm blaming seltzers, weed being legalised all over the place, and younger people not drinking as much alcohol because it's too expensive, or there are other things they want to be doing instead. And
the economy being absolutely brutalised in most countries.
Yeah.
My buying habits have completely changed as a result of my finances and the inflation of costs. And I'm somebody that works in the industry, loves the industry, and wants to support it. I just can't get my head around anybody saying, "Oh, it's all hazy IPA's fault." It's just old man waves at cloud thinking. Anywho, I've had a rant. Stephen Beaumont, you're still a great writer. Just, I don't know, somebody's bent your ear there wrongly. We've had a beery week this week, haven't we?
Sure have.
We drank lots of hazy IPA.
Yeah, it's great.
Lots of lovely lagers.
Yeah.
As we filmed a brand new series.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty excited about this one.
So yeah, we were down at the Beer Merchant's Tap, our second home, I would say, on the channel. And we were filming a new series called Beer Geeks React.
Beer Geeks React.
What are we reacting to, Bradley?
Well, we're going to be looking at all sorts of different facets of the culture around beer. And in the first couple of episodes, we were looking at beer commercials from around the world, featuring some famous faces, Johnny. We're talking about beer commercials with celebrities as the stars of them.
Yeah, baby. So we're going to play the YouTube game for a bit. We're going to say, hey, you like reaction videos? We'll give you reaction videos, and we'll also give you Jennifer Aniston in a Heineken advert, or that guy that you liked in that awful advert, Del Toro.
Oh yeah, Benicio. Yeah, my boy. Yeah.
Or we'll give you Harrison Ford in a Japanese beer advert.
All right, people can just Google these and then they won't watch the video.
No, but they're here for our reactions.
Oh yeah, okay,
yeah. Don't worry about it. We're the real appeal, not Harrison or Jennifer Aniston.
Well, it's a matter of opinion there, but yeah, certainly some of them put in some good performances. Some of them put in some great performances. And some of them...
And Harrison really phoned it in.
Phoning it in on a beach, basically. But yeah, I still love to see famous people in unexpected parts of the world flogging shit for money.
Yeah,
it's all
baby.
Good, isn't it? It's great.
So yeah, we're going to be doing advertising celebs. We're going to maybe go through the eras of beer advertising, talk about the great ones from, say, Guinness and Bud, and talk about the terrible ones from just about every Japanese brand. And then we're gonna look at documentaries, maybe some Anthony Bourdain stuff, and all kinds of, where beer meets culture. We're going to be reacting, and hopefully giving some context, some laughs, some intrigue, some history. and digging into Brad's mind palace when it comes to design and branding is also a major part of it. So yeah, we shot 2 episodes of that on Tuesday alongside another new series that we're working on, which is going to be the antithesis of our hype train, which is following on from our underrated breweries in the UK, talking about breweries that don't get the love that they deserve.
Yes.
So this week we filmed one all about Burnt Mill,
It was fantastic.
Yeah, just unbelievable beer. And I think, they are well respected within the industry and very much a brewer's brewery. They're always at festivals. They're always invited places, but just aren't talked in the same breath as, say, the Verdants and the Cloudwaters and that kind of ilk. And they 100% should be. Especially because they show a bit more variation as well. So yeah, lots of exciting stuff coming this week. Although, of course, not next week after, we won't have an upload because we've got the live show. So they'll be drip feeding out over the next couple of weeks, and then we had a couple of comments this week actually. So I guess probably the Baron video inspired this, but people asking when the next homebrew video is going to be, and it's going to be the new series is either the 12th or the 19th of June. Depending on my editing. I'm not quite sure how it's going to pan out yet. But talking to the Baron video, should we dig into this week's video?
Yeah, man. Let's dig in. I wish I had one of those beers in hand right now.
Oh, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? I haven't got any in the brew fridge. They're in the kitchen. But yeah, this was our brew day with Jack. We managed to cram a brew day and a canning day and a tasting all into one video of 23 minutes.
Somehow it was still quite chilled out and it was like a really fun sort of, whimsical is the wrong word, but a fun, sun-kissed kind of video that didn't feel like it was going at 1,000,000 miles an hour, but fitted so much in.
I'd call it breezy.
Breezy.
I think it was
California
a breezy, feel-good video. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I thought it came together really nicely. Jack is a gent and a talented brewer and good on camera. And having that fresh rubber strata was a nice little addition to the video. The canning line was great fun. I'd can. It's very Jack and I talked about this quite a bit on the day, sort of the almost meditative quality of canning on his scale. Yeah. When you've got a big machine, it's probably stressful as hell. But when you've only got 2 cans filling at a time, nothing's getting ahead of you, nothing's getting on top of you, and you just focus and you get it done. It was quite meditative.
Nice.
And we had a coffee and we had a beer and we shot the shit for a bit.
Did you have a 3-course meal, like incredible Michelin-starred 3-course meal again?
I did not stay for lunch. It was a 3-hour canning day and it was done before lunch. But I did get some incredible croissants and good coffee.
Damn. Yeah, he knows how to host.
Yeah, I was well catered for again. So really enjoyable video to shoot. Really delicious beer at the end of it. I learned a huge amount about packaging, but also about, I guess I would say, philosophy of small business. Jack's very lucky in that, he doesn't have to pay rent. It's his family farm. And he's only got to pay himself. And that has given him incredible flexibility to, get a small canning line that he can manage himself to brew almost exactly what he wants. As he said, maybe a bit more hazy stuff than he was intending, but he loves brewing and drinking that stuff anyway. And to, have a week of brewing, have 2 weeks of business, admin, other stuff, and then a week of canning, and then selling the beer. And it seems like a very manageable and creative process he gets to have.
Yeah, I mean, it seems quite unique, really, doesn't it? I guess, like you say, he's quite lucky he's on his parents' farm, so he's got that kind of base. But to sort of take on the gargantuan thing of running your own business, being, wearing all those different hats as well, from, actually being a brewer that went to school for it, and then becoming a businessman, and doing all the admin stuff and doing all the logistics and packaging and everything. It's quite amazing, really. I think I was very impressed by Jack. I think he's like the Alan Sugar of
Is he?
of the micro brewery world. No, he's not like Alan. Who would he be like? He's definitely entrepreneurial for sure.
I think he's the opposite.
Nah, he's not. He's focused. He's very focused. I don't mean that in a negative way either.
I know. But I mean, entrepreneur would imply he wants to grow and expand, and I'd see him as a successful studio artist kind of vibe, like almost anti-capitalist.
Maybe.
Don't know.
I wasn't sort of saying he was in it for the money. What I meant was, maybe I used the wrong words. What I meant was he's dedicated, and he's doing the work of about 5, which is just super impressive. So yeah, and the beer's amazing, and the brand's amazing, and the brewery's amazing. It's all amazing, Johnny. My hat is amazing. I got a hat.
I could tell you were well. Let's dig into the comments, because there's a comment which I'm surprised you didn't pick out, because you talked to me about this quite a bit.
Oh yeah, go on.
So the comment comes from Kavindra Vasuthavan, who is one of our Patreons. And I've lost the comment. Here we go. Insanely impressive how Jack runs the show mainly on his own. What's stopping CBC from starting that brewery too? And then Chris Green pipes up. He says, "Yeah, Johnny and Brad, brewery when? Not if, but when." I think the combo of Johnny, serious beer expert, and Brad, seriously lovely guy and designer, would be an absolutely winning combination that I would throw some spare savings at. And then like more conversation happens. But you've often said you'd like to start a brewery. And
love to.
Jack, when we were doing the canning, he asked me why we haven't started a brewery, or if we'd ever think about it and what it would look like. And I said to him, I'm not saying we're going to start a brewery, but I said to him, I'd want it to look a lot like yours, Jack. But with a decoction vessel. You know, that studio approach where you could brew and then you could do other stuff. Not to say that it's not business-related stuff, but, you know, the beer is what beer you want it to be. And yeah, it would be nice for us to have a brewery studio, literal studio, where we could do Craft Beer Channel and write books and do design stuff. It would be lovely, but it's never going to happen because it's impossible to make a living that way. Maybe with enough revenue streams we could, but it's a tough old life brewing, and Jack probably painted it a little more pastorally and positively than it is on some days.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, I've said for about the last 8 or 9 of the 10 or 11 years we've been doing this that we should open a brewery. We should open a brewery. We should open a bar. We should open a tap room. We should do all of these things. We should at least be contracting and selling our own beers. But yeah, it's all like massive investment and stuff, isn't it? Like,
and it's huge admin. And if I've learned one thing from running a business for 10 years, it's that I'm terrible at admin. And
we need
so
admin
are you.
monks. Yeah, thank you. We need some admin monks, like in a sort of similar Oompa Loompa sort of vibe to Willy Wonka, where he had an unpaid workforce of Oompa Loompas. We need some charitable admin monks to...
Wait, we're not going to pay the monks?
We could pay them in board and beer.
Okay,
monks.
old school style.
What do they need? We'll give them some nice bread, and
I'd want them to make the bread.
Well, they'll make the bread, and then they eat the bread.
Right, okay. So they get to make...
grain.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
We're going old school with this, Johnny. We're going like feudal barons of the land.
Feudal barons, right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not call the brewery feudal barons, because not only is that horrible, Jack would also be a little bit miffed. He might be
a little bit offended.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to do that. But I'd love to do a crowdfunder. We might be doing crowdfunder for something important soon.
Yeah.
So we don't want to like use all of our crowdfunder goodness on that right now, but it's something we're looking at some point, maybe when we retire, Johnny, when we're about 80.
Don't be that guy saying, when I retire I'll open a brewery or a pub. They're both impossibly hard work.
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, the first thing is you have to get all the licensing and stuff. Maybe we could get it for the Brewdio. I don't know whether I could get a licensed brewery in a garden in suburbia, but it'd be a start, wouldn't it? I could make 40 litres at a time. That's 2 kegs. Take it down the local beer shop.
Yeah, nice. Got to start somewhere, right?
Got to start somewhere, and then
you just need a dog, Johnny, so you can have the BrewDog story and then sell it out the back of your hybrid estate.
Yeah,
plenty of room in the back of that bad boy.
There is. Yeah, I could put 6 kegs in there. I reckon. I'd basically be doing a wheelie wherever I went, but there's space. That's what's important.
Yeah.
I got one more comment before we'll dig into yours. Which just made me laugh. So Marcus Hellaby. It's really hard when all the names are smushed into one word. First rock concert I went to was when I was 15. My mate got a urine-soaked, sand-filled cardigan hurled at his head, so I've got high hopes for this mixed pack.
Jesus.
Where did the sand come from, Marcus?
Sandy Festival, presumably? I don't know.
Oh, maybe it was on a beach, I guess.
Yuck.
Could be.
Yeah.
I'd love to know who did you see, Marcus, if you're listening? Who did you see at that presumably terrible gig?
Do you think it was Lollapalooza? Was it Lollapalooza 99 or whatever when it was Limp? No, maybe not 99. The is it Lollapalooza? No, Woodstock 99. Sorry, where it was like Limp Bizkit and stuff playing, and there was just urine all over the floor because nothing was working, and excrement and stuff, and then they set loads of shit on fire. Basically like Reading Festival.
Could be that. I feel like Marcus would have mentioned that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
What comments have you got?
I've got Neon Anderson. Says, great bloke, great beers. Onivar 3256. What a seriously impressive guy Jack is. We'll definitely be keeping an eye out for Baron. Chris Green, wait, what? Jack is a one-man band doing everything. This is absolutely insane given the quality of the beer. I must order some. We've got people saying they can't wait for the live show. Plenty of people have bought beers off the back of this, which is really nice. People are asking about the date again, Johnny. 31st. Is it the 31st, isn't it?
32nd. 31st. 8 p.m.
Freak 98682. Glad you have Strata over there. It's such a great hop. Big Harry said he was nice videos. So impressed. Went online and ordered some beers. All sorts of just like super positive comments, man. Mr. Rougelot, old favourite friend of the channel. God damn it, another brewery that sounds amazing, but I don't have access to. That is the problem with us being out of Europe now. It makes getting our delicious beers all that bit harder. I just think we've got to make some other variations on the theme as well, right? So some trousers and some other ones. Father Earth 93 says Bermuda Dipper.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I went back to somebody. Somebody else said Bermuda, and I didn't know whether Bermuda is longer or shorter than board shorts.
Well, I said Bermuda at the start of the video because Bermuda shorts are board shorts, as far as I know.
Oh, are they the same thing, just different words?
They're like surfing shorts, aren't they? They're both surfing shorts, right?
Right, yeah.
And I think they're both quite long surfing shorts. Long shorts. So it's an oxymoron, isn't it? Is it an oxymoron?
Long shorts. Yeah, kind of. Board shorts are a better word for it. I guess they just need, if they're surfing shorts, they just need to be longer than the knee because I think it's trying to stop the chafing.
Yeah. And Tima 447 says, Keith means something different where I'm from. Great video. Wish I could buy it.
What does it mean? I don't know.
I'm presuming it's drug reference, right?
Oh, is it?
Bit of Keith. A couple of lines of Keith, maybe. I don't know. Keith Richards.
Yeah, Keith's the name where I'm from.
He
If you're from
likes
East London.
every sort of drug under the sun over his time, didn't he? Logical next step up from board shorts is clam diggers. I've never heard of
Wow,
clam
okay.
diggers, I don't think. You heard of clam diggers?
No.
In terms of shorts?
I can kind of picture them. I think I know what a clam digger would look like.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably like dungarees, which would be a great. I think we should go trousers and then dungarees because that's a very Brewing uniform. I guess a clam digger might be dungarees, but like the ones you wear in water so you don't get your feet wet.
Yeah. Talking of clam diggers, Johnny, I was watching a video about Floridian worm charmers. And they were you didn't expect that, did you? They had a pole, like a wooden pole that they'd put in the ground like a stake, and then this massive bit of metal that they were kind of stroking across the top of it in interesting ways, and it was vibrating the ground like frickin' June. Like the whole ground was like pulsing, and then these massive earthworms were coming out, and they were talking about that being an art form, and there was an old Floridian guy saying he tried to teach people how to do it, and they'd given up and said they didn't know how he could possibly do it because it was that skilled. Was what he was implying.
I'm not so worried about the how. I'm worried about the why.
They sell the worms, and I don't know why they sell the worms. But that that also made me think of, I can't remember his name. The amazingly weird guy from The Office, the American Office, who's hilarious. He's a musician. I can't remember what his real name is. And in one of the episodes, he like pipes up from the back and says like, "Who's your worm guy?" Because someone's talking about worms or something. He's brilliant, and I can't remember what his character's called. But it made me think of that.
Well, I hope that on YouTube, where we now, amazingly get comments on our podcast on YouTube, which is really interesting. I'd love to know what the worms are used for. Tell us in the comments, or drop us a tweet or something.
There's Creed from The Office, who I was referring to,
right.
And he says you're paying way too much for your worms, man. Who's your worm guy? Which is brilliant.
I mean, if it's that big a skill, maybe you should be paying more for your worms.
Well,
that's all I'm saying. I feel like there's a podcast title in that. Pay more for your worms.
Michael's talking about fishing, I think, because I'm just looking at some
so it's
memes.
bait.
Yeah, he says,
right.
No, I could get a fish for a 5-cent worm. And then Creed says from the back, "You're paying way too much for your worms, man. Who's your worms guy?" Yeah. It's very niche. I don't know how I moved it on from clam diggers to worm charmers to Creed. Who's your worm guy?
Yep.
To June. Oh, that's enough. I won't go into that one, but it was about Timothy Chalamet's chin being very chin-like. Very, very, very strange shaped chin that man's got. And I saw a meme about it this week, which I thought was interesting. But I really like the worm charmer guy. I thought he was great, and it made some really odd noises, unexpected noises from a long bit of metal stroking the top of a long wooden stake. Very deep, very like kind of like mad noises, man. Things like sound like it was out of Star Wars or something. Trippy noises. Yeah, that's all I've got. I'm out.
I was just getting on with some work there.
Yeah.
Great. So, how do I go from worm charmers to the end of the podcast? It's been an odd one. Thank you for listening. We will be back on Wednesday with an upload, and Friday with probably more worms. Maybe we'll dig into Timothy Chalamet's chin. We might talk about beer at some point.
Well, I thought he could be called Chinafy.
Okay, strong.
Chinafy Chalamet.
You should have saved that for next week. That could have been the opener. It's Friday. It's 5 p.m. And I'm Timothy Chalamet.
Yep. The beautiful Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
Chinothy
Yeah.
Chalamet.
Yeah. Right. That's all we have time for this week. We will see you on Wednesday at 4 p.m. We'll see you next Friday at 5 p.m. And we'll see you at 8 p.m. the week after for our live show. I don't know whether there'll be a podcast that week. We need to figure that one out. But definitely do join us live on the Craft Beer channel at 8 p.m. on the 31st of May. And buy tickets to Cheltenham Food and Drink Festival. Come say hi. That's everything. Love and beer and worms. The Bubble and Friday 5pm podcasts are brought to you by the nerds behind YouTube's Craft Beer channel. You can watch over 400 mini documentaries at youtube.com/the Craft Beer channel. And if you love what we do, support us via Patreon and get access to merchandise and our amazing Discord forum, a positive and welcoming space for everyone who loves beer, food and homebrewing. Love and beer.